Aye. The other thing that I wanted to get everyone's take on was Callum McGregor. He's been speaking today. He said he's been speaking to the broadcast media and the newspapers and the dailies. Quotes are embargoed till tomorrow, Keith. But to the
Till
broadcast,
10:30 tonight, actually online.
You're right, actually. Keep me right. But to the broadcast, he said, "I want to be here. I just want to make sure that the club continue to push and want to be successful. I see enough signs that the team want to win. They can do enough to win." What do you make of that, Keith?
Well, he's saying what you would expect Callum McGregor to say, isn't he? I genuinely believe him as well. I don't think that he's saying anything there that you'd find hard to believe. Does Callum McGregor want to stay at Celtic? I'm absolutely entirely sure that Callum McGregor wants to stay to commit his future to Celtic. What is really interesting, and I can't, there's no spoiler alerts here. I can't give too much away. What I can tell you is the way these things work. So Callum McGregor's turned up today. He'll do the broadcasts, the Sky TVs, the radio and all this, all in one sitting. And the quotes that we've seen coming out from that is, but you can see there's a little bit a caveat in there, as long as the club wants to push. He then comes out of that room and goes and sits with the daily guys, the guys from the newspapers. Let's just say the two sets of quotes that have come out from broadcast and the dailies read in a very different manner. And all I can say is that if you're a Celtic fan and you're interested, you'll be all over us at 10:30 tonight, because without giving anything away, I think he's speaking the language, the kind of language that supporters who have become pretty frustrated over the last wee while, I think the kind of language that they'll get on board with. I think it's actually, I wouldn't go as far as to say militant. He's not a militant guy, Callum McGregor, but he deeply, deeply cares for that football club. And it's really interesting stuff. And I'm sure from 10:30 tonight, people will be crawling all over it.
There's a wee bit of me, Tam, that thinks the stick that Callum McGregor's been taking, we've talked about it a wee bit in this show. I could fully understand if at the end of the season he went, "Do you know what? 32, I want to try something different. Saudi's been mentioned." I could fully understand it if he was like, "Look, I'm going to go."
Yeah, I particularly somebody like him who's had a magnificent career at Celtic. I think when things are going well at Celtic, nobody gets any stick. And obviously this season it's been horrendous for Celtic this season. I mean, to think that they're still in with a chance to win the league is incredible, the amount of games they've lost. But Callum McGregor's, for me, certainly not the problem. But I think the Celtic supporters are starting to go on his back now. In my opinion, I don't know what the guys think. I don't think he looks fit at the minute. I think he looks as if he's carrying an injury. And I think the fact that he plays 50, 60 games every season for the last 10, 15 years is maybe catching up on him. So, yeah, listen, I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to try something else. He's done everything at Celtic. But when things are not going well at Celtic or Rangers, the first person to get it's the captain. You've seen it with James Tavernier at Rangers over the years. Scott Brown got it a wee bit as well when Celtic lost to 10 in a row. And it's Callum McGregor's turn now. So I think the main person that the fans go for is the captain when things are not going right on the park.
He's game 52 of the season, Ryan. 52. And obviously we've got 5 league games and a Scottish Cup final to come. Tam makes a fair point. That is a crazy amount of games to be playing year in, year out.
Yeah, and I think we have to be honest. I think everybody knows, as Tam said there as well, I think 100% is carrying an injury. So then on the fact that he's actually putting his body on the line as well was, I know personally doing it, Tam will probably know, you do play through injuries. There's very rarely do you feel 100% bang at it. But you'll be putting his body through pain that will affect them in later life. Now, fans will just look at it and say, so what, that's your job sort of thing. I get that to an extent as well. But we also have to remember what he's done for the club. He lives and breathes the club. He wants the club to do well. And let's not be kidded, see the players that he's playing with just now. I don't know how they're in the situation where they're still in a chance of winning a double. I cannot get my head around that, but they are. But the players that he's playing with are not doing him any favours at all. Usually you'll sit in a dressing room, and if a player's playing with an injury, as players round about that guy with the injury, you know you might have to do more. You might have to help him out and certain circumstances, if it's running a bit more, or doing whatever it has to be done to help the guy next to you who's maybe carrying an injury. I think he's been hung out to dry, and I do obviously think as well the fans at times they latch on to whether it's a captain or a homegrown player or just somebody. Usually somebody that actually cares about the club that gets it. And I look at a lot of the other players that are playing there, and some of the other players since Christmas time just look as if they don't want to be there, and very little's really been said about them. So again, I feel for Callum in a sense, but he'll be big enough and ugly enough to understand that that's part and parcel of being Celtic captain. That's what happens. That's a massive club. I think Celtic, regardless of what happens this season, have got such a big job there to try and rebuild. It is astronomical, the fact that who's going to be manager next year, who's looking at players just now, who's looking at recruitment for players coming in, players going out, what is actually happening. There's obviously the situation between the fans and the board. I mean, I think there's a lot that's a mess there just now. And I think next year they'll struggle. I'm saying struggle. I can't see Celtic being in a better position than they are just now, and they're in a terrible position just now because I don't know who they're going to bring in. I don't know who's making these signings, who's going to be manager. Does the manager then have time to make a list of players that he wants to get in? The summer goes very quickly now. There's a World Cup, so there might be players away at World Cup. How do you get them in if they're actually representing their countries in the World Cup? I just think it's an absolute minefield for Celtic. But I still wouldn't put it past them. Would you put it past them how crazy a season it's been if they ended up going and winning the league and winning a cup?
That thought's been eating away at you since the weekend, hasn't it? Because let's be honest, you went early. You've said that this is Hearts to lose, and by the way, Ryan, let's get it right. They've been terrific, but I just happen to know that inside your head when Celtic started volleying balls into the back of the net all over the place in the extra time period at the weekend, there's a little thing in your back of your head going, what we're getting here.
There's a 15% thing in the back of my head saying, is this fake that they're actually going to end up winning a double here? For being as bad as what they are, and do you know what? That'd be catastrophic for Scottish football because they've been so bad. And if they go and win the double, what does it show for our game? So hopefully that doesn't happen for me.
The thing is, we're talking about Callum McGregor there, Keith. I would imagine that whoever the Celtic manager is next season, he would be essential to the rebuild.
First thing you do, unless it's Liam Senior or something like that comes in the door, in which case you might just say, "Yeah, you can jog on." If the first thing a credible manager would do walking into that place right now, if you're taking on the job, is sit him down, chain him to a chair, and just say, "Right, I need to know everything. Tell me what I need to know. Get all the information. Squeeze him like a sponge to get it all." And then say to him, once you've got all that and you've got his assessment of where the club's at and what's required, then you say to him, well, the first thing is you need to sign that contract. And that's what any really strong, credible contender for that position has to do. And I don't see any other scenario than that. A new guy coming into that job, allowing him or sanctioning Callum McGregor to be allowed to walk out the door would be an act tantamount to professional suicide.